So I would start with our Online World Café. A warm welcome from my side. My name is Sylvia Brenzel. I'm from the local action group in Austria, from Plenum, and leading this Online World Café together with my sweetest colleagues from the PH Vienna, which is Rolf.
Welcome from me. It's nice to have you all here.
To moderate it with me together, and Wolfgang, who is our mastermind, our technical mastermind behind everything of this World Café, and Ingrid, who is joining as a participant also in the discussion. Yeah, I'm really excited because for me it's the first time I've moderated on World Cafés very often, but never an online World Café, so it's pretty new for me. And in the name of our whole partnership from the RURASL 3.0 EU project, I would like to welcome everyone who is joining us, who will spend with us the afternoon in this Online World Café. And I saw the participant list, which made me really happy because we have represented persons from universities, from rural communities, students, other stakeholders. So we are really a very nice, diverse group, which is a perfect starting point for fruitful discussions, I think. Yes, and the main topic, our spotlight topic of our World Café this afternoon is the service learning cooperations between universities and rural partners. You will notice this in the questions we have prepared for the table. And yes, this is our main topic, which connects us all also, I think. I would like to set shortly the frame of our Online World Café this afternoon. The time frame, we start now at 2 p.m. and it will last till 5 p.m. So we are here for 3 hours together. And of course, we would like to give you a short presentation about our Rural EU project 3.0. A lot of our project partners are participating, so in case you want to learn more about our project, of course, there might be some detailed discussions too, but I will give a short presentation. Then I will give you a little introduction into the methodology of the Online World Café. So Wolfgang has prepared very nice little support digital learning tools which we will use during the Online World Café. And maybe if you're not familiar with World Café at all, I will give a short introduction what the basic idea is of it. As I said it before, our spotlight topic is the service learning and the cooperations between universities and rural partners. We will basically work in smaller groups. So after the introduction and presentation, we will split into smaller groups of 5 to 6 persons. Wolfgang, you don't have to do anything. Wolfgang is going to coordinate that. We have, depending on the participants, we have maximum 9 tables, which are hosted by table hosts, which we defined already before. Thank you to everyone who is hosting one of these discussion tables. And the 3 small groups rounds will take about 20 minutes. And after each smaller group round, we will always come together in the plenary and make a short harvesting. But you will see Wolfgang and I will guide you through that. So in each round, there will be one question which is the focus on. The table hosts will present you the questions, then afterwards I will give you an overview. And for us in the project, it's really important to make a good harvesting, and I think that's the quality of the World Café, that the harvest of the discussion results is very valuable, and we don't want that anything gets lost. So we will ask you to document even also the table discussions very good on the so-called Padlet learning tool, which you will introduce then afterwards. Yes, and after each group, after each round, the groups will swap to another table host, and the table hosts, they stay on their table, and they will help to make the connection to the rounds before, but you will see them. Yeah, and before the ending, we will do a bigger harvest in the plenary. So we will ask all table hosts that they give us a short resume of their discussions of 3 rounds they had on their table. And I'm very happy to announce that Rolf, who is co-moderating with me this Online World Café, he will do the final reflection as a learning historian. Would you like to give a little insight? What is a learning historian, Rolf, in your understanding?
For me, it's also the first time to be a learning historian, so it's also a premiere as with you in the Online World Café. My job will be to be everywhere at the same time, so it's not really possible to do that at the tables, but I try to do it. Therefore, it will be very important to read what's written in the Padlets and in the Mentimeter. I will subsumize it in the end. As you see, we are all recording these tables. And in the end, we will write a kind of final report. So it will be a kind of scientific approach, and in a qualitative way, we will subsumize everything. So that's my job to do. And I'm very happy to do that.
Thank you, Rolf.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. And thanks to our Spanish partners, they have prepared an evaluation sheet. So we will ask all of you who is participating in this Online World Café that you give us your feedback. It's a very simple and easy questionnaire, which we ask you to fulfill. So it's good to have an evaluation, what went good and how you were addressed with your needs. Okay, so I would like to present our wonderful project. And as you see, we are quite a big project partnership representing 8 universities and 8 rural partners. The project is called RURASL 3.0, Service Learning for the Rural Development. And I think it's a beautiful opportunity to have a really intense exchange of experience with other partners from the academic and from the rural side. And all of us, we have different histories, different experiences with rural social learning and social entrepreneurship. So these 2 topics are in our core spotlight. And we have different educational systems and different community needs, which are unique and which we try to address through different activities in our project. The project runs 3 years, and now we are nearly in the middle of the 3 years. And yeah, and it's really exciting. We had our partnership meeting yesterday and today morning, and we got an insight of how service learning was implemented in the different countries, and it was really a fruitful exchange and amazing what ideas came up with the students and the rural partners and the universities. So I hope we can bring this into the table discussions also now then in the 3 rounds. So we have Portugal as our leading partner, Linda and Jana representing that partnership, our coordinators, then Austria, Croatia with Niva is very important in designing the project design, then the Netherlands, Spain, Lithuania, Germany, and Italy. So it's a really rainbow partnership. Just to say what our output is, to share it with you, because it might be interesting for you also to follow our project after this Online World Café. The first survey we already realized was a survey of needs of target groups in the rural areas and the analysis of existing service learning curricula in the university. So we did on academic level, on the rural level, we did surveys in each country, which was really interesting and a very important basis for our further work. Out of that, a rural 3.0 database developed. So we collected persons, institutions who are interested in our work. So this is somehow a basis for the following hub. So coming then next, so that we have contacts and interested persons who we can deliver with our knowledge and know-how then during the project and afterwards. A second important output was, or is, the academic module with courses on rural service learning, rural social entrepreneurship, community training, and digital collaborative and learning tools. So this is in development, and I think pretty done already, but still with contributions from all partners. And that's why also today in the Online World Café, we want to try out or to prototype some digital learning tools together with you, so to really collect experience, what works and what works best, and yeah, how can we even improve in these sections. Another output is a massive open online course on rural service learning. So we have collected a lot of documents, of videos, of pictures, of experiences, which will be integrated in the MOOC. And we are really prototyping digital formats like this Online World Café today, or a service learning hackathon on the 23rd of October. So please save the date. I will say some more words at the end afterwards. Maybe Cynthia, you can also then add something from your side, since you're our coordinator for that. Yes, and of course a Rural 3.0 hub will also...
Sorry to interrupt, the hackathon is on 16th of October. We switched it to the date before, the week before, to the Residence Day.
Sorry, then I still had the old date. So the 16th of October, that's correct. Yes, and the Rural Hub has the intention and the purpose that we really build up networks. Since we are a knowledge alliance in our project, I think it's crucial that we support further networking also between stakeholders and universities and rural partners. We also developed a community organization guide, so that how to involve rural partners, community partners into service learning projects. This is, for some, it's new, so it's good to have some valuable hints and tips and ideas how you can involve people in a good way, in a good manner. And of course, last but not least, we also have an exploitation plan where we want to think about how we can spread all our outputs and the nice products we developed for further sustainability of our project after the ending. Are there any questions concerning our project? Probably there are. You could have a look at our website, where you find a lot of information concerning Rural 3.0. I think it's really well set up, and with actual newsletters, and yeah, you find partners and links and further information. Okay, now I would like to dive into the methodology of the World Café. And I'm really happy that we do this World Café. I really like this format because I've experienced it as a very simple, sorry, there's something in the chat. Maybe, Rolf, could you could you observe the chat? If there is something important, please interrupt me and bring in the question if there is one. Oops, sorry.
Can you copy? No. Is a host? See. Ah, no, I see you. No, it's okay. Everything's okay.
Okay, great. So the World Café methodology is a very simple and effective, and on the same time a flexible format for hosting larger group dialogues. So how does it work? Basically, it's always connected with a very warm welcome and a comfortable atmosphere, so you should feel very comfortable and at ease, and drinking coffee and eating cake if you want. Of course, it's different in the online setting than in the real setting. Yeah, and I think a very special speciality is that it's a nice environment also at each table. Each table is moderated by a table host, and in our case we have table hosts as from our partnership. And the question is, normally we have tablecloths where all the participants can write their insights, their thoughts, their ideas on the tablecloth. We transmitted it into the online format with Padlet. You will experience that then in your smaller groups, and the table host will explain how that works. But basically, you can document all the thoughts you have. You can write things. You can copy pictures into it. You can play. You can scribble. You can paint on Padlet, which is, I think, a very nice and creative way to document a discussion. The small group rounds each will take 20 minutes. And in between the small group rounds, we always come together in the plenary session and we'll make a short flashlight. How was the round for you? What did you like? And we will try out a format which is called Menti, where you only write a small sentence or some words, what there is up there for you, and we can immediately have a little insight how the table discussions were. But you will see, I will let you through. Each round we have a question, a special question we will focus on, and the harvesting is very important, as I said before. Mm-hmm. Now we come to the 3 questions of 3 rounds. The first round, we would like to focus on the opportunities. Since our focus is the cooperation between universities and rural partners, we would really like to hear your experience with cooperation, and especially with service in the topic of service learning. And where do you see opportunities and chances in the collaboration of universities and rural partners? Some of you will have some experience, so it's really nice also to hear from other countries, from other institutions, what opportunities you have experienced or which opportunities you see. And the last question in the first round will be, how do you think can academic service learning offers meet best rural needs? So on one side we have the academic offers, and on the other side we have the rural needs. So how can they come together best? That's the first round. In the second round, we will talk about challenges, threats, and obstacles. So which challenges do you see in the collaboration of universities and rural partners? For sure you have experienced some, or you can think of some. So I mean, you're bringing 2 very different sectors together, so it might be really interesting to look at the challenges and the obstacles, and how these barriers in maybe, for instance, mutual understanding could be overcome, or how new communication channels could be established. And the third round will be about potentials and possibilities. So what do you think, who could be a further potential partner in service learning projects? Maybe you have some concrete ideas of which partners we could think of, and how our rural product outputs of our project could help you in your work. So maybe we can bring here at this point our our knowledge from our EU project, maybe we can help you also, or share some insights we had. Yeah, maybe a short guideline for the tables. The table host will introduce that maybe too, but maybe I do it now in the bigger round, so it's clear for everyone. So at each table there will be about around six participants. So in the discussion in the smaller group rounds, it would be good that you focus on what is important from your view. So please share your important view. And contribute with your own view and maybe with other points of view. So it might be interesting to also to integrate maybe other voices as well. Speak and listen with heart and mind, which means really listen to maybe some statements which are totally different to yours, with the mindset of learning from each other, being curious and not to stop or to stop the discussion. It's basically everything, all the different statements are fruitful in this creative process. Listen carefully, that's to really understand. So if you don't understand something, maybe also because of language issues, please don't hesitate and ask each other, so that the discussion can be really well understood by everyone. Yeah, connecting the ideas together. Maybe the table host can focus on that already, because for sure some ideas will arise, and connecting that makes it nice and fruitful also. Yes, and focus your attention on new knowledge and on in-depth questions. So the smaller group format allows you to really go into a dialogue with other partners. Okay, that's so far now my presentation for now. We are now 47 participants, which is wonderful. Some joined us. Welcome. Yeah.
I first thought that we have to wait till 50 and then to start, but maybe we start now. I think all the table hosts are there. I checked it. I think they are now. We are ready to start.
One is missing, one table host. One table host is missing, so I will try to exchange and make only 8 tables. I think that will work.
And as Sylvia said, you will put in these rooms, in these tables randomly. So we have no influence on that now. It's a kind of lottery.
Yes, I prepare the table host now. They are at her table or his table, and I will set the participants now inside. The table host should please prepare the Padlet link for the communication in the table. So I will try to start with 20 minutes to go. There is a timer 1 minute before when you get automatically back. So just be patient, please. I will set the participants now in.
And have fun.
Have fun, yes.
Enjoy.
See you later.
Sometimes takes a while until everyone is going into the breakout session.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do anything. Wolfgang is taking care of us.
Yes. We are in good hands. Now we are losing participants. It's a good sign, because they are now, Wolfgang put them into the rooms.
students training and professional training, because it puts them in another culture of working, not facing everything to the actual set. It sets the possibility of a cultural transformation, if I have been too long.
Hi, sorry for interrupting you. You just chatted me. You have no Padlet link.
We have, and we started to write, but I'm not sure if others can look at this Padlet link and to see if it's this one. It's Group D, yes?
Yes, Group D.
I'm trying to write there, and I don't know if it is there now.
Okay. I will just check it. I will make a screen sharing. So this is what you wrote to.
Yes, I wrote something. Okay.
Okay.
And all other participants also can write, and I wrote the democratization of knowledge. Yes.
Yes, you have the link in the chat. Everybody can click on it, write in or scribble or take photos inside, and just make it. Okay.
Yeah, so it
fine,
works.
all works. Okay, I will.
I would like, yes, and I would like to thank to David for these ideas, and actually this idea of democratization of knowledge. Also, it's about
Servus, Rolf.
Klappt alles?
Ja, ja.
Ich bin jetzt aus dem Natalia-Raum raus, wie du ja siehst, und möchte woanders rein. Kannst du mich irgendwo reinschieben?
Ja, wohin willst du? Welchen war, das war jetzt der 4er-Raum, glaube ich, gell?
Der Raum von der Natalia, der 4. war das, glaube ich, ne?
Okay, ich schieb dich einmal, was, Joanna, Detlef, Daniela und Katja,
genau.
okay.
Was da los ist, wie da die Stimmung ist. Aber mit dem Pattern ist es gelöst alles bei allen?
Ich weiß es nicht. Bis jetzt habe ich im Chat, ich muss nur immer wieder reinschauen, ob es da... Ja, da gibt es einige Anfragen. Ich werde nur schauen, dass ich dich jetzt noch da schnell raus in die...
Ja. Schieb mir einfach mal zu Joanna.
Ja, wenn das geht. Ich sehe dich nämlich nicht. Das ist das Blöde.
Okay, oje.
Nicht beigetrieben, verschieben nach Table 1. So.
Super, danke. Man sieht
jetzt
sich.
Müsst unterwegs sein. Tschüss.
Ciao.
Aber nicht beigetreten geht. Bist du angefordert?
Bin noch da.
Ja, interessant, weil du solltest eigentlich jetzt rüberkommen.
Also ich bin jetzt noch hier. Also.
Ich kann ja nur versuchen, eine Hostrolle schnell zu geben.
Ja.
Also, na, dann bist du der Host, dann kann ich nicht mehr.
Nee, das ist ja genau die Geschichte.
Soll
ich denn nachher in der ganzen Gruppe drin bleiben? Zurück kann ich es auch nicht mehr, ne? Also das ist...
Na, schau nur unten in deiner Leiste, ob du irgendwo hast, der Breakout-Session beitreten oder so. Vielleicht musst du das
nur Breakout-Session? Ah ja, kommt einfach. Der gibt mir jetzt zwar Table 2 vor, dann mache ich das einfach.
Ich kann dir in einen anderen wieder, in den anderen geben. Das ist kein Problem. Verschieben nach 1. So, und jetzt müsstest du nach 1 teilnehmen können.
Okay, dann mache ich es einfach auch so random.
Passt. Katharina, can I help you?
And rural partners should be beneficial from both sides, and that academic experts actually need to recognize the importance of practitioners and the important role of our not only defining needs, but also implementing something that was offered by academic community and being and for critic and review providing by
Gerasol.
Ich gebe noch ein Table aus. 2 bitte.
Auf 2, jawohl.
Danke.
Ich verlängere jetzt wäre die Zeit abgelaufen. Die Silvia hat mir vorher geschrieben, ich verlängere, ich schreibe es nachher allen noch rein, dass 5 Minuten oder so dann.
Kommt so ein Zeichen dann, ne, dass sie jetzt.
Genau. So 2 willst du, hast du gesagt, gell?
2 wäre super, ja. Danke.
Ja, bitte. Tschüss.
Hey, Wolfgang.
Hi, welcome back. Okay, all are coming back. I tried to set the timer 5 minutes more, but it didn't work. All right.
We just behave well.
Some are coming back.
That's the reason why. I've seen that time is over, so we come back.
Yes.
So back to the main boat.
Back to the main boat. I tried 5 minutes more, but it didn't work. So
I just stopped my table. I said now.
No.
Oliver said we have no seconds are left. So
our moderator just left the session, so we have been 3 participants
okay, wow.
alone in the room.
I saw 0. Time's up.
Time is up, so we have to leave and come back to Wolfgang and the main boat.
Yes.
Boat.
Wolfgang, can I ask you a question, a technical question?
Yeah.
What is the idea of the tablet? So I was writing down, but people can't see the tablet during the discussion, right?
The Padlet, you mean, I think?
Padlet, yes, sorry.
Yeah, the Padlet, the idea, maybe the table host can share it via screen sharing.
Ah, okay.
Right?
I didn't
So
get
all can see all elaborations.
I see, I see. I will do it next time. Okay.
But
Share the
anyway,
link
if the participants are also on the board, they see what is written from other participants. So
Yeah, sure. So it both work, I think.
Okay. And how do I if I go out from the tablet, is what I write down, is it gone, or is it safe?
No, it's safe. You use it in the next session now, 2 in the second column.
Okay.
Okay, and it's safe. So we will prepare it for saving for harvesting and so on. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So I think the others are still
Yeah, I think
the 5 minutes.
it worked on other tables. I see table 3, 4, 6, and 7, and 8 are working.
Yeah. Did you send a message that we have more 5 minutes more now?
No, I pressed on the button, and if I want to write, you come back. So I thought it didn't work.
Okay.
So I wrote nothing anymore.
I saw the 0 time and I said, we have to go back.
Yeah.
We're going
Okay.
to...
I will try to set all now back. Sylvia wrote me, it's okay. So I stop all sessions.
Yeah.
We are just good citizens, Joanna.
Yes.
Good behaving.
Now they have 60 seconds to come back. So. Well, only 20 seconds left.
It's nice to have birds behind.
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
Wolfgang.
Yes.
Yeah, it's my garden. That's right. It's the garden birds.
No biodiversity project.
No, I don't think so.
You could make a bird project in your garden.
That's right. I could. We even counted our birds, so we have, I guess, 63 different birds, different bird types.
Really?
Only in the garden. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Really amazing. I've been amazed as well. So
and do you know all of them by name?
Yes, my wife does.
Hello everyone. Welcome back in the plenary. That was now fun. Thank you, Wolfgang, for collecting us back in the plenary session.
Back again.
We have 42 participants now. Yes, we would like to have a short insight and feedback from you. So you will find in the chat a link which is called www.menti.com. Maybe you can write this in your internet browser and use the code 9544824. You can see it in the chat.
Sylvia, the code is not working for me.
Okay.
Same, code is not working.
It's not working?
No.
I will check it.
I have to ask our mastermind, Wolfgang.
I'll check it. Just one moment. Why it doesn't work?
Let's see if that works.
Really? Doesn't work anymore?
Is it one number too many?
I don't know. Why?
I tried to not put in the last number, but it doesn't work.
Okay.
Okay. Let's have a look.
Well, if the survey was created at least like 1 or 2 days ago, the code may have changed.
I think so.
You just need to log in and
Yeah.
automatically the code is changed.
I will do it. Just one moment.
Technical experiment.
I think if you're in the Mentimeter right now, there's a button like sharing the link, and you can just share the right link without the numbers.
Yes, I will do it now. We thought that would be the short version because normal World Café has a harvesting round past every round. We made the short one because the harvesting should be on the past the 3 rounds. So I hope now it works. I have the direct Menti link like Detlef, I think said.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's working.
Okay, fine. Now please try it.
Wolfgang, what is the code number?
There is no code number anymore because if you click on the link, you're
yeah, okay.
Inside.
I'm there. I'm there.
Okay. Wonderful. I will now set it. Sylvia, it's okay. I will set the screen sharing now.
Yes, please.
With the first.
Great. Oh, wow.
After the first round.
Ah, that's magic, Wolfgang.
Ooh.
You're a Gandalf the White.
It's interesting for harvesting because so many things.
The 26 people now have written something for that. So it's learning, collaboration, exchange. Intergenerational equity was also a word. Reciprocity, volunteering. Exchange. Collaboration, sustainability, innovation. Rural. All right.
A whole nice new research topics like sustainable exchange collaboration.
Yeah.
Or collaboration rural learning.
And the intergenerational, I think it's something that pops up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be intergenerational innovation and equity. That's or reciprocity.
Yes.
But I find it interesting that experience seems not to be there, or experiential or something like that.
Yeah, that's missing, huh?
Which is so central for service learning.
I agree.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Okay, so maybe we can. Is still someone entering words? Yes.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Rickard. I assist Lucas for quite some years already in well, finding the cases with social firms and foundations. So I thought I might pop in. So
welcome, Rickard.
Thanks.
Okay, Wolfgang, should we come to an end with this?
I make a new choice. For the breakout session for the tables. Just
Great.
one moment.
So the next round will be about challenges and threats and obstacles we might face in the process of service learning and social entrepreneurship processes. Maybe you can bring in again your experience you had already with students, with communities. Might be interesting also, maybe some experience how you overcame obstacles or barriers, starting with mutual understanding. How did the communication went? How did you bring people together? What was maybe not so easy?
Okay. So let's try once again. I will set you now on your tables. Have fun. 20
Thanks
minutes
a lot,
to go.
Wolfgang.
Hello.
So, hi. I will set you in the rooms. Yes. All right, can I help anybody? Wieder weg. Warte, ich höre dich nicht. Warte. So, jetzt höre ich dich.
Ich war wieder Raum 1. Das ist halt schon langsam peinlich. Ich komme ja zu Joanna. Ich muss nur mal schauen, dass ich woanders.
Wohin willst du?
Gib mir einfach mal irgendeinen Raum. Mal den 7 oder 8 oder so.
7, das ist, was ist das? Da ist die Ingrid gerade drinnen bei der Linda und Irene Barbieri als Host und sonst gibt es den 8 mit der Marietta, Lukas, Feline als.
Ja, gib mir den mal.
Den 8, okay.
Ja, ja, da wird es bestimmt heiß hergehen. Ja, super.
So, warte, jetzt muss ich die wieder so verschieben nach 8. Passt, viel Spaß.
Super, danke.
Ja.
Hey Wolfgang.
Yep.
Gibt bei dem anderen, da ist die Silvia auch drin. Das hat gar keinen Sinn und die sind noch am Rätseln wegen der, weißt du, wegen Padlet und so weiter. Gib mir mal Nummer 6 oder so oder 5, bitte.
6 oder 5. Christina Pilla, Rickard, Katharin, Antonella, ist ja wurscht. Okay. Nummer 6, muss ich die erst wieder finden. Da bist. Verschieben nach 6. Passt.
Okay, danke.
Universities.
Yeah.
This is of course a challenge, but a way to overcome that could be to use technology to get. But then if technological abilities are not there,
Hello, welcome back, everyone. I think slowly we get used to this breakout session format. Thank you very much.
Hi again.
For still being here.
Yeah. Hi again. And sorry for my group that we had to to leave so closely or so spontaneously.
Yeah. Yes, my group too. We are talking and we get interrupted. Oh.
The master is Wolfgang. Master
yes, you are so bad.
Master of disaster.
Anna Paula, is it already dark in Portugal, in Viana? Because
it's about my video. Just a moment. Now the light is on.
Oh yes, perfect.
Machines and Wolfgangs are ruling the world, obviously. Pick you out.
Wow. So again, Wolfgang, would you like to share again our Menti flashlights? Give us an impression how
Just one moment.
How you are. And this time we will have a question in the Menti, and the question is, what is missing in our actual discussion we are having? So you see in the chat there's a link, and thank you here.
You mean the general discussion about service learning or our discussion here in the World Café?
That's a good question. Yeah, maybe
I mean the whole discussion, because now it's only parts of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what is missing in the general discussion about service learning and social entrepreneurship?
Café is good.
Okay, so we have around 18, 19 words already. Co-creation is the big one. Dialogue. Entrepreneurial spirit is missing. How do we measure success? The cafe is missing. Resources. Co-creation, still a very important missing aspect, which was mentioned by more people. The gap is the language. The common language is missing. Resources, also mentioned by some more people. Reframing the future of service learning. Cooperations are missing. There could be much more cooperation, collaboration. Rural partners are missing. Impact measurement, innovation. So there are a lot of things which came up into your mind, and I think two of the main missing aspects is the co-creation and the resources in the normal formal curriculum. All right, thank you very much at this point for your feedback. And I ask Wolfgang now.
Yes,
that
we can
last
go.
but not least, we go into the third round now and identifying possibilities, potential of the service learning, and maybe also further partners we could think of.
Okay, let's start. Have fun.
Let's start in the smaller groups. See you soon.
Does anybody need help?
Gibt es noch einen anderen Raum, Wolfgang? 4 zum Beispiel?
4. 4. Verschieben nach 4. Das ist Lukas, Mariana, Natalia, Rickard und eine Mila, die nimmt.
Okay, super.
Tschüss.
Danke.
Ja. Yep.
Wolfgang 2 oder 3?
2 oder 3.
Oder Nives, eine von beiden ist es, glaube ich, ne?
Schauen wir mal. 2 ist die Linda, der Wolfgang Stark, Katja und Adeni. 3 ist Bojana, Christina, Marietta, Nives und Silvia.
Also gib mir mal 2 Start.
2, bist 2, ja? Geht schon.
Ja, danke.
So back again. Thank you, Tessa, that you had so very famous words at the end of your session, because Tessa said, we should also include kids and children in the service learning ideas. And this was wonderful. It was famous, including kids and having their creativity. I love it. Thank you, Tessa.
Yeah, it's what I saw in my local areas as well, that there are youth advisory boards, and these are kids that are in an advisory board for the municipality or for Shell or some local like health insurance companies, stuff like that, and they learn so much about all these companies and how it works.
Wow, great.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Yeah, those companies are also game.
Yeah, youth advisory boards. These even children are in the advisory boards, or is it our teens?
Yeah. There are children in an advisory board for the municipality, and yeah, it's just local organizations that organize that, but it's super educational.
Wow, wonderful. And the two ladies from Portugal, they said that if you're working young and old generations together, especially young and old, preparing relationship is preparing our future. This is not a question of efficiency and KPIs, but it's just relationship and preparing the future. I love this. Wolfgang, you always said yes when we were talking, and your birds may be behind you. Wolfgang, have you experienced in this circumstance of children, involving children in service learning projects? Have you some idea?
Not really in service learning, but you could call it service learning because they are collaborating with universities as well. There's a huge, since I guess 20 or 30 years, a huge project each summer in Munich, in the city of Munich, where they kind of build a city of the kids. And they really built a new city, and they have all the roles. They have a mayor, they have administration, they have business people, and they're all up to 15. So 15 is the oldest, I guess, or 14. And they're working together for 6 weeks in a huge area. Now this year it's kind of decentralized, and it's really amazing what they do. What the kids do. So they are kind of, trying to copy their idea of how a city is running, and they're really living it. And the funny thing is, the first thing which is coming up is a role which the organizers didn't expect. It's the role of the criminal. So they have, all of a sudden, they have police people, but of course they need some criminals as well. So the kids are getting criminal as well. So it's real life prototype. Very nice.
Yeah, thank you for sharing this, because we were collecting new opportunities and maybe new relations, and Tessa brought in the children, and Francesco, the young generation, and the very young generation, the teenagers, which have maybe more clue about creative and bright future.
Yeah, I can share a link to the kids city of Munich, because they are exporting it to other countries as well. So it's a model for other cities as well. So it's really nice to learn from them. I try to find the link.
Yeah, I think we have to give back to Wolfgang Weinlich, huh?
Yeah.
To the captain. Who is the captain, or is Silvia the captain here now?
We never know.
Never know.
Wolf and me are the captains, and Wolfgang is the real captain. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. I think that was really exciting, these 3 rounds. I think it might be a good idea to make a break now, just a short one, 5 minutes break, just to breathe and move somehow before we go into our last hour of sharing and exchanging. And I would like to ask the table host to be prepared that you give us a short summary resume of your discussions at your tables. And please remember that you only have 3 to 5 minutes, so as short as possible. That would be wonderful, but just to give us an insight of your discussion, so you can maybe use the little break to get prepared for that. And my proposal is that we meet at 5 minutes, so it's 5 minutes after 4. Okay, everyone, fine with that? Great.
Okay, see you.
See you. Oh,
ja, Silvia, 5 Minuten war zu lang, zu kurz zum Rauchen, glaube ich.
Aha.
Thanks for coming back again. Great.
Sylvia, I will put in the groups, the table hosts in the chat, all groups, so we have the table, who was on which table, the table host for moderating for you. Or
thanks a lot. I know it anyway, but it's good to have it in the chat too, so everyone can see it. Wonderful. Wow. We had 8 groups at the end, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So, and the first one was, I think, Joanna, is that correct?
Yes.
Great. Let's see if Joanna is back already. I don't see her yet.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, there she is. Wonderful. So my question to you, Joanna, would you like to give us a short resume and insight? How was your table discussion? What was surprising, or what was somehow a highlight or an important aspect for you as table host?
Just one question. Of the 3 rooms or the first room?
Of all the 3 rooms.
All 3.
The 3. Okay. So I think that the exchange of ideas in the 3 rooms were quite amazing. Some things I can highlight is regarding the communities and universities. They have to have the same language, and when we talk about the same language, it's knowing each other, knowing their traditions, knowing their thinkings, knowing their rules, because it's the way that universities and communities have to best connect each other, like a marriage, they said in one of the rooms. If this gap is off, then lots of synergies and collaborations can be made between universities and rural communities. Another thing that was said is that we can create social ecosystems, like a social ecosystems, and this project Rural 3.0 is a good example of it, and we can connect social technologies, digital technologies, economic technologies to create opportunities for innovation, cooperations, and practice for the rural communities. And I think not only for the rural communities, I think for all the communities, because of this COVID-19 situation. It's what we talked about. With this COVID-19 situation, we must rewrite the way we learn, the way we teach, the way we live, and that will change not only our social connections, but only our connections with the nature and the way we can live in the world in the next years.
Thanks a lot for sharing, Joanna, to give us an insight. And
I don't know if are we going to share our Padlet? I don't know. What is this? Do you want me to share? I don't know what's the point of the Padlet. Is it only for us?
I think it's good for documentation also after the Online World Café. So if you're interested, I think Wolfgang, please correct me if I'm right.
Okay. Just for
so now it's only a resume from you as table host, just to get a little impression. Otherwise, the time frame is too short.
Okay, but it was a really inspiring moment, these 3 rounds. Thank you.
Super great. Thanks a lot, Joanna. So let's continue to the table number 2, which was Wolfgang Stark. You were the table host. Would you like to share us your insight? What have you experienced?
Yeah. Wolfgang just, thank you, Sylvia. Wolfgang just put away the Padlet because mistakenly I used the first Padlet. right? And there you can see what I wrote down about the different rounds and the different tables. All three tables were very inspiring in my case as well. So what popped up in my mind and what was really important was the discussion about the difference between, to learn more about the difference between rural areas and urban areas, which continued in table 2 as well in our discussion about the different time frames and rhythms of not only universities and rural areas or rural organizations, but also the areas. So how do we deal with different rhythms, and how do we learn to collaborate and to co-create if we have different rhythms? And we had this, what I always liked, the comparison to music. You know, it's when you try to bring in different rhythms, like in jazz, you have to really listen to each other. You have to build your relationship. And the topic of relationship was another one, which is, I think, very important, not only to look at the outcomes, at KPIs or whatever, or at efficiency, but really focus on the reinventing or inventing relationships between the different areas. And someone in the last table brought up the idea of that it's not only a one-sided relationship, but it's a circular learning. So and then if you manage to have a circular process, it will have a chance to be a sustainable process as well, because a circular process is reinventing itself. And that's basically the topics we were talking about. All of them have been, well, had the big potential to talk a little bit, much more about it, like we had in the morning with the projects. So I think we've been left with the idea, well, we should have some more time to think about it. And maybe that's one of the challenges of the organizers of the World Café. How could you proceed with all these things beyond documentation? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Wolfgang. Well, I think we have a list of the participants, so I hope it will be possible to share it and so we can stay in touch. And of course, we have some other activities planned in our project where we will make a call again, so maybe people then can join again. Thank you, Wolfgang. Let's continue with the next table, which is from Nieves. What was your experience? What were your highlights?
Thank you, Sylvia. Well, our highlights were quite similar to those previous mentioned by Wolfgang and Joanna. And actually what came first in the first round is actually how academic partners need to understand the role of community. And there was an example of how influential the role of, for example, farmers is for the academic community. So without farmers, it is impossible to implement, design, or communicate solutions in that academic field brings in front of us. And also, as other colleagues mentioned, this existential need for the collaboration between academic community and labs in negotiating and implementing procedures, especially with decision makers and the governmental bodies, where collaboration between academic community and local action groups or rural partners is essential. And of course, learning on both sides, this circular learning, as Wolfgang really nicely mentioned, is very, very is needed for this collaboration to be sustainable. And in our second round, we dealt a lot with challenges such as mutual understanding between academic community and rural community. And someone mentioned that science actually needs to be in service of the community and not the other way around, as it is usually mentioned. And we mentioned one term that is important for all, and that is empathy, not just for academic or rural experts, but also for students. So empathy for daily life requirements and understanding the timeline of academic year and fiscal year, and that there needs to be an overlap in these timelines. And also that collaboration between these communities is necessary for sustainable development, and language was also mentioned. So academic language that cannot be used in rural communities, where you need to sit with people in a simple, easy way and find a language to express rural needs. One of the members of our second round mentioned that the only way to find and collect people in one place to share their rural needs was to enter the church and to find there a place to actually collect all people from this rural community. So you need to find different languages than academic to be able to overcome and to communicate. And also there was storytelling was mentioned as a need in academic community to explain and express something which is important for both sides, and that academic partners should be translators for students and for rural partners. And finally, in the last, the third round, we mentioned project ideas. So some of the partners said that they would love to have projects in foreign language learning for their rural community, training materials developed further. The book of results that was mentioned by our Austrian partner is something that was also brought up, and also ICT projects to bridge the digital divide. And finally, what was really, really important is some interdisciplinary rural service learning as one of the potential ideas for further projects. And I would conclude with that for the room number 3. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Nives. And table number 4 is Natalia. Would you like to continue with your results, with your highlights? Just short summary for the insight.
I would like to thank participants of the table, and we discussed that actually rural communities, it is a space of the people of older generation live. So it's also very important intergenerational aspect, and usually and we see that there is difference, and we can identify difference between these two different systems. City and cities represented by students, which is innovative force, but at the same time students come from rural communities, and in many cases service learning in rural communities could be means to diminish a negative effect of brain drain. And also we discussed democratization of knowledge, which is done through service learning, since communities can bring their knowledge, and co-production of knowledge could be done in rural service learning. Also, we discussed challenges, and one of the challenges pointed out by participants is intercultural differences. And maybe we can view in general a sense that there are differences of cultures between rural areas and cities, and between cultures of youth students as representatives of this culture and people living in rural communities. But at the same time, in some institutions, in Netherlands, for instance, virtual mobility with rural communities in other countries was organized with Thailand, for instance. And in this case, we see that some additional measures need to be applied in order to diminish these cultural differences and to harmonize different cultural attitudes. And we were discussing value of products produced in the project, and we stressed that almost all products are very innovative, and MOOCs and Hackathon and World Café, and they have value for teachers in our countries as examples of new innovative strategies, and then can be used as such examples in addition to being example of innovative product on service learning. Also, we discussed that in order to go further with service learning development in our universities, in our countries, in Europe, we need to continue this discussion about specificity of service learning. It is still important to discuss specific features of service learning and how it is different from placement or from practical learning. But at the same time, all these different learning forms and strategies all have something in common, and it's working and learning in real life settings. And despite of differences and the differences that service learning is specific and differs from other forms of practical learning, volunteering, placement, internship, still all these forms are important to learn in real life settings. So we see that it is one of them. One of the important aspects of promotion development of service learning in the future, to develop this discussion on importance of learning and experiential learning in real life settings.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Natalia. And we continue with our next table host, Alfred Streedy from Austria. What were your highlights?
Yes,
was something surprising in your discussion?
Yeah, I want to thank all the table hosts before, because we had to handle a proper job. I think it was a nice job. And first, in the first round, we shared our experiences. Especially experiences which were coming from me from Austria. There's a sustainability challenge, or from experience from Jürg, experience also from Oliver, who shared this, and Hector, who shared certain experiences in Chile, even creating, I would say, also a terminus living labs, which is a little bit broader than service learning, or it's a different aspect of service learning. A living lab. And I learned two new phrases, or not learning. I was learning a new phrase. I have to search it here. It is called inbound marketing. We have to do inbound marketing, which is new for me. So you have to use the ecosystem, the present ecosystem you're inside, and use it also from, let's say, the students which are in a university, in a region, connected to their hometown, to their home village, to their home region. And we can use these rural partners and let them know that we are doing learning as a service, And so the trust is deeper, and the ways are shorter, and we do not have to go out and say, aha, we are doing service learning, but we should use connections and relations which are already there. One very important message was here. It was said we have to manage clear expectations, and expectation management came also in table number 2. It was called by Tessa, because the partners often have expectations, like they want to have a consultancy, or just doing a good job, making my website or something like this, like if it's an entrepreneurial partner. But it's a co-creation setting, it's cooperative, it's much more research, learning and creation than just doing a proper consultancy. And you have to be very clear that when you start the service learning project, you have to be clarified, all the partners, what are you willing to do, how it could be done, and then often during the service learning project, you have to have clear and good dialogue structures, dialogue structures where you collateral, bilateral, work with different expectations, also objects, and also different objectives to come to. So the translation between the interdisciplinary, but also the transdisciplinary partners, the translation work is very important. There was an obstacle identified. It could be the bureaucracy, even in university or even in rural partners, municipalities, so bureaucracy, but you can overcome it by doing it several times, and maybe the first time and the second time it's a little bit more, takes longer time, but then it's more fluent and it's going easier. And the last round we had was dealing with this intergenerational relationship, building this relationship and building and working young and elder people together. It was also brought in an idea that elder people are not only the people which are living in the rural areas, they are also elder students, senior students, which are 60 plus, and also these students could work together with young people in rural areas. So it's not only the way we are thinking of. And last but not least, we could bring really new stakeholders into our universe, like the children or other stakeholders from outside, and they have different knowledges, and service learning is then giving a certain value and a possibility to sustain traditions, to sustain old methods and let's say forms of creating or doing things, and give them credibility, give them a place and valorization. This was a word, valorization. There's regional heritage and traditions, giving them valid. We had a short discussion about COVID-19, and if when old and young are working together, then these are famous last words, then we are preparing the future. So building good and meaningful relations means we build and prepare the future. So thank you.
Thanks a lot for the famous last word. Yeah, let's continue with Pilar, our next table host.
Okay, thank you. In the first round regarding opportunities, several ideas came up, like this is a service learning, rural service learning is a good opportunity for everyone, students, teachers, the community. Students learn about the rural environment, but the community gets help from the university. And we spoke about it, that the students can really help, and we have a huge pool of students, and they bring new ideas and solutions and diversity into the organizations and into the projects. Now, regarding the round 2 on challenges, threats, and obstacles, we spoke, for example, about difficulties for rural partners understanding service learning. They are more used to volunteering than to this other methodology. And sometimes it seems that we speak different languages, different idioms, like scientific knowledge versus community knowledge is something that was brought out also by one of the participants. And to the point that sometimes it seems that rural partners see universities as competitors. And it's not just the challenge, the communication in that sense, but also the difficulties having access to telecommunications, to other ways of communicating. That can also be a challenge, as well as the distance, right? And sometimes these rural partners are in places that are not easily accessible. So transportation and the time, the cost and the time, of involving transportation can be a challenge. And all these aspects, we said, they need to be carefully planned before we jump into, we implement the project. Also difficulty, we mentioned difficulty finding motivated students who are willing to travel long distances, or, as I said, towns that are not well connected by public transportation. And well, finally, maybe for this second round, the final idea is that, okay, there are a lot of challenges, but maybe what we have to do is to make a challenge out of this for all partners. One of the participants mentioned that, okay, there might be difficulties in communication, but face-to-face meetings seem to be the best option for breaking barriers between the rural partners and the university. And about the round 3 on potential and possibilities, we mentioned that the lags have shown as a very good bridge. And in our case, in Rural 3.0, they have worked as a wonderful connection because they are very close to the rural partners, but they are also close to the university in terms of they are used to making agreements, developing projects, international projects, and then applying for funds. So they have been wonderful connectors, and that's a potential, we think. And also we mentioned as potential more involvement from your students, but not just from our classes, but from university associations and student associations to be included in the projects. Online materials have not shown sometimes to be very used by rural partners, so maybe we can find ways of delivering tools that are more easily, that can be accessed more easily and also written in a non-academic language. There is also potential for involving administrative units in the university, in the projects. And finally, in Rural 3.0, we discover big needs in rural areas, and the rural communities discover the potential of universities. So there is a huge potential for working together. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Pilar. Another insight to the table. Last but not least, we have Celine, which might be not so easy. A lot of things have been said already, but maybe you would like to, you can point out some highlights from your table discussion.
Yeah, Of course, I think most of the things that we talked about were indeed mentioned already, because when there's 7 people in front of you, there's maybe not so much left. But let's see. Trying to find my own Padlet here. Well, we talked a little bit about our experience with service learning, and I think for the people that in every round I was with a lot of people that are in the project, so you know all of that already, so I'm not gonna talk about that anymore. Although we also had one person at some point joining us that was only connected to service learning in a more academic way, so only the theory and academic papers about that. And I think something interesting that came up from that was that in her country, as well as in my country, the word service learning is really not received very positively, because the word service is difficult in our countries. So I think that's something interesting, just for everyone to maybe know. We talked a little bit about opportunities. We see a lot of them, but we do recognize that in some countries it's then very, very important to be able to actually move to the rural areas. I was talking to my first group when we were talking about internet connection. That's not always great in some of our countries. And then at that point, while I was telling how great my internet connection was here in the Netherlands, my internet connection lagged. So that was funny. But I think it's important that if we continue online service learning, we need to focus more on great internet connection and maybe also technological help. I think most of the challenges that are in my list were already named, but the most important thing I think is the different ways of thinking and speaking between universities and rural communities. And that also kind of ties into what we could further do with our own materials, and that is to make them less academic. Because it seems that what we have now, pretty much everything, even if it's the specific guide for the rural communities, it might not be as accessible as we at the universities might think it is. So I think that's really something that we should all think about when we produce further materials, which we aim to give to our rural communities. I think that might be the most important thing. So that's it for me.
Perfect. Thank you, Feline, for the short summary, and thank you for your fantastic work. I think we have brilliant results which we can work further on, and very valuable. Now I would like to continue with a short resume from Rolf's perspective, which is somehow on the meta level, our learning historian. Yeah, what were your impressions from our World Café? I'm curious what you have noticed, what you have experienced.
Yeah, it's really on the meta level. I have written all the time, making screenshots all the time, just jumped in and jumped out. I think it was a little bit not so polite, but some of the groups, they asked also questions to me. That was also very funny. Others, I was just a visiting guest, also okay, also perfect. I think everything is named now. We have everything now documented via the recordings. We have the Padlets and the Mentis. And I don't want to be too much redundant now, because I think we heard it all. It will be my job and the job of my team to put all the things together, to cluster it. And I think also in the same way, the positive and the more obstacle negative, and then the synergy to put together. But I think the hint with the language is a very important one. We are talking maybe the same language, but it is not the same language, and we have to find a medium to communicate to each other, also with the students and the professors, also students with the communities. It is very interesting. find a new setting to communicate to each other. Another question I want to ask to you all, maybe we are not talking about rural and urban, but we are now living in very strange times, and I think everything is changing now. We can't talk about urban and rural that easy nowadays. You know, the situation, the COVID situation has changed everything, and I think with our project we are in the center of this new developments, and they are very radical, these developments, I think. So some of the points, also we talked about transport, you talked about the transportation problems. I think in the future maybe that won't be that big problem. The problems will be at another level, in another situation. So it will be an interesting job to see all the table discussions, to collect them together, and maybe to put them into our great ebook in the end of the project. Thank you very much.
Maybe
and also thank you very much all the hosts. It was fantastic, and Wolfgang, you did also a fantastic job, and the moderation of Sylvia was brilliant.
Thank you, Rolf, for acknowledging everyone. I can just join. Irene is reminding me there was, did we skip a room? Did we forget this table?
Number 8, I think. There was number 8?
I think number 7.
Number 8.
Who was the table host of number 7?
I think number 7.
Irene, were you the table host?
Yeah, the number 7, I think.
Yes.
She was a table host.
Oh, great. Yeah. Sorry, Irene, please share your insights also.
Okay, so, well, we just discussed about a lot of things that the other table mentioned before, but just to summarize briefly, in the first round, concerning opportunities, we discussed about innovation in terms of university that brings new instruments, methodology, technical stuff into the for the rural communities, but also something that was mentioned before regarding sharing knowledge. So there are two different contexts, the university and the rural community, that have different knowledge that are sharing, and the idea is to produce a new knowledge. So the opportunities in terms to work together, to learn to work together, and to find the best way to communicate between two different realities. Another important thing regarding the collaborations is about the capacity of service learning to put into practice knowledge also for students, and as rural community and universities to be self-confident in their own capacity. So these are the most important things related with round 1. Regarding challenges and barriers and obstacles, the most important things about structural things, so academic and rural context, different schedules, different times, different types of organization. So this is could be an important barrier to collaborate and to develop a service learning project. Also, they have different languages in terms of not just languages, but in terms of meanings, in terms of to understand in terms of understanding. So this could be another important obstacle. And also, some of the participants find that there was mostly in the COVID moment a lack of involvement of the student, but also for the partners. So this could be an important barriers to develop a project, service learning project. And how we can overcome these barriers, how we break this barrier. And the most important idea was to that is very hard to break these structural barriers, but developing new ideas, product, improve results of our project. This could be a way to promote changes at political level. So, and this could be the only way to change something. Regarding round 3, potential and possibilities, regarding potential partners, a general idea shared is that every organization could be a potential partner, but in a practical way, it depends on a specific need, a specific aim of the project. Someone gives an example related to the COVID moment, and for a specific project, they need a computer technology expert. So this could be an important partner, a potential partner for a rural service learning project in the time of COVID, for example. Concerning the last part of round 3, so the products, the idea is that it could be important to develop not just products like MOOC, hackathon, or other important products mentioned, but also products that could impact could report the impact of the project and report how the project improves students' lives. So something very practical that could be impacted in the society. And another suggestion for the MOOC is that it's too long and too structured. So the idea could be to divide it in very short videos, divided per section, and this could be more useful also for the students. So I think this is enough for table number 7.
Okay, thank you very much, Irene.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Now we are at the end. not at the final end. Before, I would like to invite you. You see in the chat a link, or I can share also my screen. Hold on, here it is. Because our Spanish partners, thank you very much, prepared an evaluation questionnaire, and I ask you please to fill this in. Maybe we use the next 5 minutes together and we fill the evaluation form here.
Can I?
All right. Thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Sylvia, can I?
Oh, sure.
Okay. Thank you very much for your participation, to all universities, to community partners, students, actor, external evaluator of this project who participate in this event. I think we achieved the goals of the Online World Café. It was an event, a great sharing, I think so, and discussion about service learning. Finally, thank you, Wolfgang, and your team for organizing this event, the transnational meeting. We all are tired. It's 2 days, rich days, I think so. Briefly, I send the minutes of this meeting and the task that we'll soon have to do. Stay well. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you to our project coordinator also for your wonderful work and your final words. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Hope to see you soon.